Hello, welcome to vlog 46 of Beloved Blackness. I'm Dr. B. And the past few weeks we've been talking about, and I've been using this acronym of H.U.G.S, H-U-G-S, as the Beloved Blackness antidote to the stress of coping with COVID-19, the pandemic. And last week we talked about the G. So the H is honesty, the U is uplift, the G is grieve, and the S is soothe. And so last week we talked about grieve, and I want to do a part 2 of grieve. So when we think about the grieving process, I kind of talked about some of the stages of grieving last week and all of the different losses that we have to face as we're enduring the trauma of this pandemic. And one piece that I think is really important, especially in light of the deaths, what has come to light in terms of the death of Brother Ahmaud Arbery, is that when we experience grief in the present moment, it brings up grief from our past. And that even includes ancestral grief. And so when we see the lynching and the violence that is fueled by anti-Blackness continue to be perpetuated as it has for hundreds of years since our forced enslavement, then it's going to tap into the deep well of grief from our own personal lives, whether it's family grief or our societal lives in terms of our community and our brothers and sisters and siblings. And also our ancestral grief, those losses that we have not fully allowed ourselves to feel and face as it relates to all of the losses that our ancestors have had to endure, that we continue to have the legacy of which impact us on personal and collective levels. And so I want you to think about ways this week to give honor to that ancestral grief, as well as honor to family grief. And this time last year on Beloved Blackness, I talked about the African ritual of libation and the importance of pouring libation in terms of honoring the circle of life, that which is unseen does not mean it's not real. And so think of some ways that you can be able to give honor to those ancestors, those family members who have transitioned, and even those who are yet to be born, and allow yourself to anchor in the beauty of the grieving process. Although painful, it is one of the ways in which we allow ourselves to be enlivened in our lives, enlivened by the pain that comes with being alive, enlivened by the joint suffering when we experience suffering together as a community, that there's a way in which the life that comes out of the sorrow, out of the lamentation, out of the rage, out of the anger, that we are enlivened to then embody our lives in a way that can bring forth our passion, bring forth our own personal and collective truths, bring forth parts of ourselves that we didn't even know were in hiding because we have illuminated them through the process of grieving. And we don't do that alone. We do it in community. We do it in relationship with one another. And so I invite you, as I reflect over this week of the many losses of this week, particularly just thinking about the lynchings that have taken place, but also personal family losses and commemorating the anniversary of a dear loved one this weekend. And so I just encourage you to choose a ritual, a way to honor. It could be you journal about memories of that person, or you allow yourself to reflect on what could their lives have looked like if they hadn't experienced this particular travesty. And also you can think about what in my life gives voice to their lives. What in that ancestor, that person's life that you weren't able to see them manifest, but you now can manifest, or your children can manifest, or dream about your children's children manifesting that. And so in the face of grief, kind of like in the words of Frankie Beverly, joy and pain, like sunshine and rain, it's kind of part of life, right? That we grieve because we love deeply, and we're able to experience loss because we've connected and attached deeply. So I invite you this week to allow yourself to feel the depth of those attachments and the connections, while at the same time allowing yourself to connect to the beauty of the grieving process. Until next week.